Today we are testing some of the most hyped up fragrances in the fragrance community. I ordered those from Sommelier du Parfum, and this is not a collaboration, so I don't know any facts. Don't quote me on anything, but I do wanted to test them out with you. And because so many of you always ask me where I get samples from, I get them from several sources, but one of the sources is Sommelier du Parfum. I heard about the service through a friend, and she told me that you either pick your perfumes or they have a perfume test, and then they pick out some perfumes for you. And then you get a box like this with the fragrance samples inside, or they have some already made up discovery sets for a specific theme, so gourmands, green fragrances, and so on. And those are 5 samples for 20 euros. And then you get the sample set, and what you also get is a 20% coupon code basically. So if you want to have one of those scents as a full bottle, you get 20 euros off. And I feel like they ship worldwide, and I think for those discovery sets, the shipping is free. Worldwide free shipping is what I was reading up on. And then delivery depends on the country for the full sizes. That's that on that. I love the service. I love the brands that they have on there. I have had several of those discovery sets because they've had so many of the perfumes I always wanted to try. I think the price is very fair. I love how it comes. It's very simple. I would love to have notes of the certain perfumes like on a separate card or something, but you can always look those up. But you know how I am with things like that. And yeah, I have tested out all of the perfumes already, so I can tell you what I found. But I think it's such a nice idea to have those perfumes firstly as a sample and then see if you like them or not, because some of the perfumes in here I thought I would love, and then I ended up not liking them at all. So I mean, it's good that I tested them out beforehand. Also, I think it's a great gift idea to gift to someone, because you know, it's very hard sometimes to give perfumes to certain people and you don't really know what they like, or if they like a specific perfume you pick out for them. So that's always a nice idea. That's it on that. So let's test out all of the perfumes. First one is Cacao Porcelana by Atelier Materi. I love their bottles, and I've never tested, I think, any of their perfumes other than now this one, and I will test it out with you again because it has been quite a while since I tested all of those perfumes. And okay, so the main accords are spicy, sweet, gourmand, creamy, and woody, with notes of cocoa, rum, blonde tobacco, Vahina, jasmine, sandalwood, patchouli, and tonka bean. So I get most of the notes listed here, but I don't know if it's like a combination of those notes, but to me, oh, it's a little stinky almost. Like there's something in there that almost smells like bad breath. And it's like really off-putting to me, which is a pity because all of those notes sound so good. It's a very strong perfume. A very strong perfume. On here, like on the rating, it says it's not a strong perfume. For me, it is. It's very unique indeed. It reminds me of what Supreme Vanilla was for me in the first place. Like it's a nice, creamy, sweet perfume, but then there is this very present note that is very off-putting to me. And with Supreme Vanilla, it changed, but with this one, it hasn't changed on me. It still is, I don't know, almost like a rotten flower or something. Like, I'm so sorry to say that, but I don't like it at all. The performance is, as I said, quite good. The sillage is quite strong on me, and I can tell that there is cocoa in here. It's very boozy. You can tell that there's rum in there. Maybe it's the Immortelle with the Vahina and the jasmine all mixed together with those boozy notes. It just doesn't work for me and on me. And then there's also a patchouli note that is quite prominent on my skin, and one that I do not like. So all in all, I'm very happy I did not blind buy this, because I was so close to blind buying it just because it sounded so good. It's so highly praised and I love the bottle, but I'm glad I did not, because it's just not my perfume. I'm going with the order that they came in. Similarly, I have Piano Santal by L'Orchestre Parfum, which is a very hyped up fragrance in the fragrance community. And I had a sandalwood phase where I was searching for the best sandalwood scents, and I loved all of them basically, until I didn't. And I think sandalwood is a note, like a lot of notes, that can be perfect or it can be too much. And if it's like a specific sandalwood, I get headaches instantly. With that scent, I get instant headaches, unfortunately. So for me, I was super hyped up to receive this perfume, and I was so happy to try it. But when I received it, I was shocked, because I did not like it. And a lot of people say it's like a very easygoing sandalwood scent, and to me it's not. So the main accords are creamy, woody, sweet, synthetic and spicy, with notes of milk, ambroxan, sandalwood, cedar, white musk, cumin, sensual skin accord, and bergamot. And what I get mostly is the milk and the sandalwood. They are combined to be like extremely creamy. It's a very creamy scent. It is quite sweet. To me, it smells a lot of sandalwood, and I think it's maybe the ambroxan, which is also very strong, that in this case, to me, it doesn't work. It's too synthetic, mixed with those natural leaning milky notes. And then the cumin is quite prominent as well. It's in the background, but I can smell it, and it makes the perfume more interesting, but also I don't think it makes it a lot better. So I'm just very confused, because to me it's not a very easygoing scent. It is very cozy. It's a very cozy scent just because it is very milky and creamy and quite sweet, but it's a very niche smelling perfume. If you like perfumes like maybe This Is Her by Sadiq and Voltaire, this is in the same family. A lot of people say it smells similar to Milk by Commodity. It's in the same family, but the other one to me is a lot more easy to wear and a little bit more spicy and not as synthetic as this one. Also, a lot of people say it smells like Santal Basmati by Affinescence. I think that one is a lot more easy to wear, a lot more quiet and subtle, and that one here is quite strong on me actually. It's not a beast mode whatsoever, but those notes that are a little bit difficult for me are jumping out at me, let's say. So unfortunately, I am quite disappointed in this perfume, but that is maybe just because sandalwood right now is a note for me that's a little bit hit or miss and can give me a strong headache, unfortunately. The next one is Dark by Akro, and Akro is a brand that is very interesting to me because it is owned by a master perfumer, and I love a lot of his creations, so I'm always interested in testing out his fragrances, and it's Olivier Cresp. And I love, for example, the Bake perfume by him. Dark is supposed to be, I think, like a very yummy chocolate perfume. And the main accords are gourmand, spicy, sweet, woody, and earthy, with notes of cocoa, dark chocolate, hazelnut, vanilla, and cinnamon. And I do get all of the notes. I get all of the notes, but I get something more. I get something very earthy, actually, throughout the whole wear experience. And it has something animalic to it as well. Something that reminds me of a zoo. And yeah, it's very niche smelling. It's not a very easy gourmand scent to me and on my skin. It's very dark chocolate. It is very dark chocolate, like 80% or more dark chocolate. It's not very sweet. The vanilla in here is not as loud as it usually is. The cocoa is quite strong because to me it's quite dry and powdery. It is quite spicy from the cinnamon, and the hazelnut just gives it something nutty. So I enjoy those aspects, but because it has something quite animalic to it on my skin and something quite earthy, it just rubs me the wrong way. And also with this one, the performance, the sillage, and the longevity is very good on my skin. It's not a beast mode, but it's not very quiet, and I feel like a lot of people could enjoy it if they don't get the very animalic parts of the perfume on their skin, because it is something different. It is a gourmand scent. It smells like chocolate, but it's not your usual fun, girly chocolate. It's a lot more niche and different smelling, but not a perfume I would buy for myself. But now, finally, onto one that I fell in love with and I have to order a full bottle of. It's on my wish list, definitely. It is Cuir d'Orient by Sous le manteau, and this is a fragrance brand I haven't heard that much of, but I heard about this perfume because it's supposed to be quite similar to another perfume, which I like, but this one, I even like more than the one that it gets compared to. So this has the main accords of sweet, powdery, leathery, creamy, with notes of opoponax, benzoin, bergamot, heliotrope, iris, patchouli, and vanilla. It gets compared to Cuir Beluga by Guerlain from the Privé line, which is a perfume, as I said, I like a lot. So both of those perfumes are leathery perfumes, but I'm not quite sure if the other one has leather. Yeah, it has leather in the notes, and I do get a lot more leather in there, which is why I like it a lot, but it's not a strong love. In here, there's no leather listed on here. Maybe it just has like a leather-y feeling, which is what I prefer, because a lot of leather scents don't tend to be that nice on my skin. I just don't love them on myself and not on others around me. But this is just, I don't know what to say. I think it's like a masterpiece. I'm shook. I'm so in love with this perfume. Like from start to finish, it's unbelievably beautiful. It's so elegant, so subtle, so something else than what we usually smell like, but still I think it's mass appealing. It's definitely unisex. It has this elegant, timeless powderiness to it that reminds me of Celine perfume. So if you like scents like Black Tie or Dans Paris, it reminds me a lot of those. Oh my god, it's so creamy. It's like floral vanilla scent. I don't get patchouli. It is quite resiny. I smell Poponax and benzoin, but they are not those like very rich and deep ones, but just give it some depth. And the bergamot uplifts it and makes it quite fresh and so easy to wear. But then you have those quite powdery iris notes, and the heliotrope and the vanilla just make it more creamy and fluffy and sweet, and I'm in love. This is a definite buy candidate. It's on my wish list so high. I definitely have to get it. It's incredible, it's amazing, and it doesn't have the biggest performance, like the biggest sillage, the biggest and longest longevity. I would say like half a day to a full office day is what I get with this perfume when it comes to longevity. And sillage is quite personal. It's not a skin scent whatsoever, but it's not like very loud and everyone around me can smell myself. But I like it with those kinds of scents. It's very cozy, it's very comforting. I can even imagine myself maybe wearing it as a bed scent, maybe in winter time or something. But as you can clearly tell, I'm in love with this perfume, which was a high, because when I first sampled those other perfumes, I was so sad, but then I came to that one and I was in love. Let's continue with one I don't really remember anymore. I think I liked it a lot, but let's see, let's test it out again. So it's called Vahina from Sylvaine Delacourte. I haven't heard about this perfume at all. I have seen this brand, but I haven't tested out any of their perfumes. But I'm not quite sure why I picked this. Maybe I was on a vanilla kick, which I honestly always am on a vanilla kick. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure why I picked it. Oh yeah. It's good. It's good. I remember. So it has main accords of sweet, creamy, floral, fruity, and citrus, with notes of vanilla, orange blossom, mandarin orange, bergamot, osmanthus, jasmine, neroli, petit grain, tonka bean, exotic blossoms. Is that a word nowadays? Hawthorn, and woody notes. And this is such a nice perfume. It has something in there which makes it quite unique and not your typical vanilla perfume, but at the same time it makes it a little bit more challenging to me. So what it is basically a mixture of a more classic powdery vanilla scent, something like a Note Vanille by M. Mikolev, if you know that one, mixed with a very sweet and creamy vanilla perfume. Let's say something like a Burberry Goddess. Mix those together, but then you have some florals, some very fresh florals. You can definitely get the neroli, which is mostly a very strong floral that I pick up on my skin. The jasmine is quite present in here. Also the orange blossom, actually. So it also has something in there that reminds me of fig and a little bit of like a sandalwood type of experience. So it's on one hand a more easy to wear and simple fragrance, because it is a very straightforward vanilla scent with a little twist, just like Burberry Goddess. But on the other hand, that one remains quite the same, and this one, I get something different every time I smell it. And I did enjoy the wearing experience on my skin, I remember, but as I told you in the beginning, I didn't remember. So it wasn't something where I was like, oh my God, I have to have it. It was nice, but I don't know if I would wear it that much if I would own a full bottle. So I definitely have to give this sample some playtime to see if I like it, especially now that it gets warmer, because it is a vanilla creamy sweet scent, but it's definitely, I would say, a main accord is also green. It's quite green from those citrusy aspects of the scent, from the petit grain and the bergamot and the roly. It makes it actually a little bit more green. So it does remind me of something I would maybe get from Guerlain, like something like Angélique Noir, but more fresh. Or also like a Celine perfume, because the vanilla, as I said, has this powdery aspect that is quite elegant. And as I always say, those Celine fragrances to me scream elegance, timeless elegance and beauty, and they often are quite powdery, but not just powdery, but just in the right amount. And I'm not too sure if this is the right amount, but I'm quite unsure about it. It's nice, and I feel like a lot of people would like it, but it's not a mass appealing perfume. I would say you definitely have to try it, but I'm unsure. I feel like I'm gonna make this maybe my scent of the day today to see how I feel about it at the end of the day. And the last one is one they picked, because I picked something from État Libre d'Orange, and I think it was sold out, or like out of stock, once they saw my order. So they asked if they could put this one in, and I said yeah. So I think the same day as I got my discovery set, I got the full bottle of this perfume, which is why I now know this perfume quite well, and it's quite hyped up in the perfume community. This is Silky Woods by Goldfield and Banks. And I saw some YouTubers rave about this perfume being like a very beautiful winter vanilla perfume. And I feel like with Goldfield and Banks, it's quite difficult for me to get into it, into the brand. And I feel like on my skin, they don't work that well a lot of times. So this has the main accords of woody, sweet, leathery, spicy, and creamy, with notes of vanilla, oud, sandalwood, saffron, suede, cinnamon, frankincense, ylang ylang, and tobacco leaf. Sounds very interesting to me. As I told you, leather is a note that on my skin I usually don't like if it's too out there. And to me, on my skin, and now that I smell more of the mid and later on the base note, it gets more and more leathery on test strips, on my skin, and it's just too much for me. In the beginning, I get a very creamy, sweet vanilla, but it gets more subtle and goes straight into the background on my skin, and the more deeper notes, the oud and also the saffron, the frankincense maybe, they play a role in here. They are quite present, but together with the suede, it's just a little bit too much for me, a little bit too masculine as well. It's a very strong perfume. If you want something that's very strong and you love your vanilla-y, sweet leather scents, this one is beautifully made. A lot of their perfumes on me are a little bit too synthetic. This one is not. It smells very natural. It's very beautifully made. It smells very luxe, very smooth. But basically the leather is just too much. I think if you just dial down the leather to like 10%, it would be a very interesting, still niche perfume that I would love, because the ylang ylang is in the background, it's beautiful, and the vanilla in the forefront, in the top, is nice as well. I love oud in my perfumes. I love saffron and tobacco and frankincense. So basically all of the notes I love but the suede note, which is having the center stage, especially on my skin. So unfortunately, I'm not the biggest fan. I want to try to pair it with other perfumes just to, as I said, dial down the suede note, but other than that, it's not my favorite. So let me know if you've tried any of those perfumes. What was your experience? Do you have any of them as a full bottle? And do you want me to tell you more about the service? Do you want me to test it out again? Maybe with different brands, or maybe one of those topics like the discovery sets with a specific topic. Let me know, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!